You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's something man on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of Changeling Tale, Grace's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright, they're back. Her bare back still faces me as Hazel brings us closer to the shore. I don't want Grace to think I'm spying or being invasive, so I try to halt my horse. Of course, Hazel fights back. We amble closer and I find myself unable to look away. She brushes at the water with her palms, making idle patterns out of the ripples, teasing the surface with small, gentle motions. Each caress twists her body just a little more my way, until I can see. Snap out of it, man! I finally have to yank the reins to lead Hazel off the shore. That was too close. For good measure, I dismount and we walk side by side along the water, trying to avoid Grace spotting us. Ahoy, Malcolm! Oh no, don't turn around. Don't turn around. Hazel bristles. Naturally, she refuses to budge. I see you there, Malcolm. From the sound of it, Grace is swiftly walking up the beach. Despite every contrary sensation of my being, I sincerely hope she's fully dressed by now. I turn to face her. Ah, Grace. Fortunately, she is clothed. She faces me, smiling and soaked. I smile back, if slightly frozen, experiencing a new type of shell shock. I try to cover my tracks by acting more surprised. How did you spot me from so far away? Ha! I didn't see you. It was dear Hazel who caught my eye. She's a memorable lass. And feisty and hot-tempered, too, as I recall. Those qualities do indeed describe my Hazel. Hazel brushes against Grace favorably. Grace looks up at me with a devilish smirk. Did you see anything? It's alright if you did. I'm not embarrassed. Mind, my sisters would be mortified, but I really can't be bothered about what people think of me. I swear It doesn't matter. I was swimming, that's all. Weren't you freezing cold? No, not at all. You must be cold-blooded then. I've been called worse. Her retort has me fumbling for words and glowing from ear to ear. I try to rally. Are you heading home? Do you need a ride back? I'll bet Miss Hazel would mind a bit. She seems to take a liking to you. Thank you, but I was planning to take a walk along the loch while I dry off. I can never get enough time outside. Has to join her. Do you mind if we join you? I've been enjoying my time in the spring air this afternoon. Grace hesitates. I hope I've not overstepped. As confident as she appears, I can tell that she's unused to sharing her personal space. If she doesn't want me to tag along, I can't take it personally. Join me, if you wish. I haven't shared the sun with someone for a long time, but so rather my sisters will join me for these outdoor getaways. I don't imagine you inviting them along. I used to. They never seem to enjoy it as much as I do. Marion is too much of a worker bee. She considers this idle time outside of mere frivolity. I believe I require it to stay sane. And Jessie. Jessie is always in too much of a rush. Always worried the daylight will ruin her complexion as well. You would think she's nocturnal. Neither of my sisters can soak in the sunshine and fresh air, and simply appreciate it for what it is. It's unfortunate for them. Sad, really. I would agree with you. Fresh air is good for anyone. My life isn't meant to be spent holed up inside, I can tell you that. It sounds as though she definitely speaks from experience. I spent my fair share of time shuffling around inside the house broom in hand, cleaning and cooking. Mopping and chopping, I call it, but this is where I'd rather be. Grace tosses her arms up to the sky, swaying a bit back and forth. Then she reaches down for the hem of her dress, attempting to wring it dry. She chuckles as a stream of water trickles onto the grass. Well, maybe the sun will dry me out a bit. What do you think? I imagine the sun will try her best. I'm glad we live in such a bonny country, and such a serene spot. We have an undeniably beautiful homeland. The music gives me definite Final Fantasy vibes. We walk closely and I do my best not to sneak glances at her still damp dress. Hazel bucks in my grasp a few times, but Grace is there to calm her and offer words of wisdom. Hazel, sweet girl, you're a bear cat, aren't you? You know you're foolish to rebel against your commander. That's a brave soldier, tried and true. He's seen more than you can imagine in your sheltered little horse life. You ought to cut him quite a bit more slack. Had an easier time controlling a platoon of unruly young boys than I have with this mare. Hazel huffs with pride. So let's take her for a ride. If you'd like, she does seem to have quieted down some. I heft myself into the saddle and reach for Grace's arm. She deftly sweeps around it and hops into place behind me with ease. Oh. Wrapping her arms around my waist, she nudges Hazel with her feet and we break into a trot. Wet pebbles sparkle as they scatter behind Hazel's hooves, cooked up with every stride. Listening to lapping tides and hissing undertow, I finally feel something I've been missing for years. Peace. It's like an enormous weight is lifted from my shoulders, if only for a moment, here and now. We ride in silence until I hear Grace speak, feeling her breath in my ear. What did you miss most while you were gone? It's like she's reading my mind. Besides the beer. Not if that's the truth. Ha, no, the true answer would be solace, comfort, safety. Never questioning if I'll survive another day or if my friends would either. Grace whispers in my ear and I can feel the taunting of her words on my earlobe. I sense a smile on her lips. I liked the beer answer better. Hazel keeps us moving at a mercifully gentle pace. With Grace's arms around my waist, each sway helps me lose myself to the moment and take in the raw, untamed country around me. What would you miss if you left Acton Craig? Grace takes her time in answering, and I can't tell if she's pondering or just ignoring me. Where would I be going? To the trenches or an island in the tropics? To India? To the lowlands? Knowing where I'm headed would color my response. Fair enough. You're going to a deserted island. No village pub, no family, no farm. Only you and the coconuts. Are there monkeys? I laugh to myself but keep a straight face. No monkeys. A few stray birds, perhaps. Nothing too meaty. You live barely on bananas and pineapples. Oh, I see. You want me to admit that I'll miss our town, my family. That I'll long for warm meals and rich foods. But there are plenty of fish in the sea, and I'm bound to spear my dinner daily. Still dodging the question, I coax her further, wanting to know what she's really thinking about. I don't doubt that, but how about it? If the trappings of civilization were stripped away, would you miss it? The only thing I would miss is my privacy, were I ever to lose it. Strand me on a deserted island any day and I will flourish. How about the village? Would you miss the markets, the shopping, the pub? My mouth starts watering for a pint. Not a bit. Acton Craig is as boring as ever. But at least Jessie has taken advantage of changing times and found her way, eh? One of Bulgare's latest schemes to bring out the entertainment and bring in the money. At least it's made Jessie happy and filled her coin purse. It's funny what the little song and dance will do every once everyone is lubricated and looking to empty their pockets for a sexy girl. Yeah, Bulgare's onto something. You don't want to shimmy for a shilling. Grace laughs loudly behind me, the sound catching the breeze and resonating among us. No, the fewer people looking at me, the better. I'd rather float away to sea than shake my hips, not to mention my terrible voice. I bet you have the sound of a siren. Of course, inasmuch as it would lead a man to certain death by his own hand. Well then, it's too bad you can't make a living luring landlubbers in the wide open ocean. The banter ends abruptly as Grace goes silent for a pause. Are you teasing me? Yes, I think. Why, were you considering a career at sea? A career? The working world is not for me. The lads will be back soon, and they can keep it. So just the sea then. You seem so peaceful out there, moving with such, well, grace. She pauses again. I suspect I struck a chord or a nerve. Were you in reconnaissance in the war? You're an acute sense to notice that while not looking. Oh, It's fine, and you're right. If I could live in the ocean, I would perhaps die of happiness. Wouldn't you miss your sisters? Maybe, but I would have the cold water to refresh me, the fish to feed me, the sun to warm me, and the stars to guide me. I would do just fine, thank you. It sounds like you put quite the thought into this. It beats hanging around cows all day. And you? Where would you be the happiest? So far it's been right here in Acton Craig. You don't dream of something better? If nightmares, the place is worse. I've been to other lands, travel east, travel west. Second, water time. Alrighty. Okay. After all, the home is best. That's right, home is safe. Britain is free. The whole world was saved, didn't you hear? The snicker I hear reassures me that I can joke safely. with this new friend. She's a spirited gal, I must admit. No stranger to sarcasm. In some ways she rivals even her plucky flapper sister. A roof over my head and hot tea are all I need, save for some fresh air and good conversation, like this one. Don't you need love? I just about choke. What a response. A blow to my ego or a trick question, daring me to ask her opinion on the subject. Grace never fails to keep me off balance. If I find it, I might never want to lose it. Not having it, I feel as though I can still make do. I impress myself with the quick off-the-cuff reply. It inspires the courage to challenge her back. What about you? We'll love you in open waters.
I don't need love. I don't need a man. I'm happy alone, by myself, drifting.
She says it without hesitation. I don't doubt her sincerity. It breaks my heart a wee bit. Would your sisters approve?
I can't please them. I know they love me, but there's so much pity. They dote on me as if I'm still a baby, like I can't take care of myself.
That will change once you're older. Once you take on more responsibility.
And once I'm more like what they want me to be.
Grace grows quiet again, and I don't push her to talk anymore. Before today, I hadn't realized the divide between her and her sisters, between her and everyone, was so wide. Wide as the sea, I'm sure she'd agree. Was she always like this? I don't remember. She was youngest, shyest, the one I saw the least growing up. I sigh and hope it is a divide she and her family can bridge, but that is a challenge for another day. The wind is picking up as the sun goes down, and I suppose we should be getting home. I tug at Hazel's reins and give her a swift but gentle kick to her hindquarters. We trot back to the McLeod branch, where Grace dismounts. She pointedly thanks the mount, not the cavalryman.
Thank you, my lovely little lass, for the lift.
She pats Hazel's head and winks at me. Can't help but smile. Grace's dress and hair have dried completely. I think at how lovely she looks with her golden hair and button nose. Her eyes have so much vivacity and bitter sarcasm hidden behind them. Against my better judgment, I hope to encounter more of Grace and her sagacity. Thank you for letting me join you.
Why, of course, Malcolm. Thank you for not saying anything or telling my sisters that you know I've been swimming indecently. Marion worries too much as is. And heaven forbid if Jessie found out I'm as shameful as a common trollop, swimming about in the nude. She'll have me pegged as a Gibson girl faster than I can swim to the South Seas.
I assure you I have no idea what you're talking about.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, Malcolm. Don't take the visitors often. Never, actually, but I promise I won't run away if you come by again. Probably.
I take that as a compliment. Good day, Grace. I bow dramatically, then hop back onto Hazel. We make our way back home as my mind replays the odd conversation between the youngest McLeod and me. Funny young thing, isn't she, Hazel? Hazel harumphs, which just has to be a sign of agreement. I fall asleep that night thinking of Grace's sly grin, sharp laugh, and perhaps even her damp pink cotton dress. It'll be time for me to hit the hay soon, y'all. I'm one tired boy. I wake up realizing I've slept in a bit later than usual. My body must have really needed it. Thankfully this time my sleep was deep and nightmare-free. It's left me feeling refreshed and ready to tackle whatever the day will throw at me. And to my surprise, the first thing it throws at me is a chiding grandmother.
Good morning, sleepyhead. Goodness, why are you wearing those dirty rags?
The working clothes I'm wearing are a bit faded and dusty, but compared to the mud-soaked khakis we wore in the trenches, they feel like pristine attire. They're not that dirty, Gran, and I'd hate to foul up a nicer outfit. I've got another hefty day of work in store.
Not before you go to church, young man. The work can wait.
Church? Is it Sunday already?
Aye, and you'd best throw in your proper outfit in a flash if we're to make it to the sermon on time.
Church. I can hardly remember the last time I went on to a proper service. My time in the field had seen me quickly fall out of the routine. It wasn't for the lack of opportunity. There were plenty of chaplains around, even if what passed for a church was just another dugout with a cross nailed into the dirt. Nowhere had lost my faith. It was just... God felt so very far away from the front lines. Many of the other soldiers prayed, but I privately doubted he could hear them. But that was then, and this is now. Sometimes turning a new leaf means returning to old practices, especially if it's important to Gran. Alright, let me get changed.
Good. I'll have our sandwiches ready for the road in a jiff.
Despite our best efforts, we arrive late to the sermon. Gran and I quietly shuffle in, taking a seat in the back pew. She seems to be in good spirits, thankfully. I suspect she's just happy to have someone here, someone to join her since Granddad. I try to shake the bleak thought from my mind, but it's not easy. Almost they play such dirge-like music, and everyone looking so solemn, like they're attending a funeral. There's Marion sitting at the front by the altar, looking much like she did in school, attentive and giving it her all. Her sisters are conspicuously absent. Barely visible through the crowd, I spot a familiar floppy cap, too. So the hat girl is a local. I wonder if I should say hello after the sermon. Mulgar is chatting quietly with the cheesemonger toward the back, practically oblivious of the lecture. I suppose at his age he's heard it all before. Sometimes I feel the same way. The preacher's voice is at once stern and hoarse from knowing God's truth. He's been speaking there every Sunday for the past 40 years. I remember a lot of these sermons from childhood, biblical tales of strife and longing, being cast aside, yet finding the good choices and following in Christ's path. Last spring, when I held a wounded man in my arms, I thought of Joshua, tasked by Moses to command the Israelite militia after fleeing Egypt. I didn't know who this man was, a commander from some other unit. Who would lead their militia if he were to die? Who would be their Joshua? Who would save his men from the next oppressor? The officer struggled to breathe and finally quit, giving his life for his country. For me. Shrapnel fell in circles around me, giving off violent sparks and deafening rips against rocks. It was like a million shrieks seared into my eardrums. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to join me in prayer. I bow my head, clasp my hands. My eyes are closed, but the memories linger in plain sight. Dear God, what a privilege it is to welcome home the heroic men of this great war. These men who survived unspeakable hardship and showed unfathomable strength against merciless aggression. I'll pause it right there, y'all. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Alrighty, y'all, I'm gonna go head to bed. Alright, y'all have a great rest of your evening. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!